Hi, it's Muzz Evolve. Thank you very much for being here again this week. The air conditioning has finally got to me and I've had a very croaky throat this week. I've been fine. Physically I feel fantastic. I'm still going to the gym, still swimming, but my voice has been a little bit iffy. So if I do a full 45-minute channel, I won't make it to the end. I'm absolutely certain of it, and I'm actually not sure if I'm going to make it to the end of this small discussion, but we'll give it a go. I don't want to leave you hanging. I've been absent so much recently. So I'm going to discuss something which I think is fascinating. I've been having an interest in recently, and this is this idea of simulation theory. And it's the idea that we are not in base reality, that instead we're in a simulated reality. So the way that this is, there are species within the base reality that have created their own technologies, and from those technologies they have been able to simulate realities. And when you look at our reality, we're already doing that. We have like role-playing games. Games, digital games, video games are simulated realities. That's what they are. Also, we have virtual reality, we have augmented reality, we have Sims, which is literally simulation. That's what it's short for. So we're already doing this. So if we're doing it without basic technology, when you think of species which have been around for millions, even billions of years, then it's very likely they have very sophisticated simulations. And it could become so sophisticated through the use of artificial technology that the characters or the avatars within the simulation become self-aware, and they start developing their own civilizations, their own technologies, and then they also eventually create their own simulated realities. And then their reality eventually creates its own simulated reality. And so you get all these layers of a simulation within a simulation within a simulation within a simulation within a simulation. And it's all stemming from this one base reality. So if you consider in this context, then we've got one base reality, but we've got trillions or more of simulated realities. So the chances that you are in the base reality and not one of these other simulated realities then now becomes 1 in trillions. So there's a much greater chance that we're in a simulation than we are in base reality. That's just the way the math works. And Elon Musk himself actually says that the chances that we're not in a simulation is 1 in billions. So if you're in a simulation, it becomes very difficult to tell you're in the simulation, because all of the laws of physics and everything, it's all due to the parameters of the simulation. So to know you're in a simulation, you have to leave the simulation, look back at the simulation with the perspective, oh, that's the simulation, this is not the simulation, or this is outside of the simulation. But there is one way that you could possibly infer that perhaps we're in a simulation. That is, if we're in a simulation, that means we're in a program that's being run on some type of hardware. And so the hardware itself would have limitations. And those limitations would manifest in the simulated reality. The limitation would be processing speed. No matter what program you run on a computer, for example, it will never be able to do that program any faster than the maximum processing speed of that computer. So when we look in our reality, do we have a hard limit? Is there some processing speed beyond which we cannot exceed? Yes, there is the speed of light. Nothing in our reality theoretically can move faster than the speed of light. That is the hard limit. So it could be argued the speed of light is the maximum processing speed of the hardware that's running our simulation. So if we are running simulations in our gaming world and the other ways that we use it, and this technology continues to improve and improve and improve and improve, if the improvement is consistent, then over a matter of time, whether it's 10 years or 1,000,000 years, eventually the simulation would become indistinguishable from reality. So I know so far everything I've said pretty much is describing our reality. So you've got to ask, who is it that would just choose to simulate a reality with us in there? Why would they do that? Well, there's kind of two scenarios that could explain this. One scenario would be that it's our descendants. So the future humans, or whatever we become way in the future, may be interested from an anthropological perspective what we were like, what kind of lives we lived, how we interacted with each other, how we evolved spiritually, how we were able to break through, all of the things which they know from the historical perspective, which is yet to occur for us. And so they have created a simulation so they can observe what we're doing. And the other scenario could be artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, very much in the style of the Matrix. They are using humanity in a way which requires that we exist, but that we're manageable. And so they have placed us into a Matrix-type simulation where we are occupied and live a life of consciousness, but without getting in the way, and also being available to exploit in whichever way that they decide to exploit us. In Spielberg's movie AI, the main character, the little robot boy, was David. And at the end of that movie, the very last thing that happens is the life forms on Earth, which are now robots, which are now completely artificial. They create a simulation. They put David in the simulation. So David now thinks that he's living the life that he wanted to live. But it's completely simulated, and the AI are just observing what's going on. So even that movie ends in this idea that AI have created a simulation. There's another movie which I saw, which I can't remember the name of, and there is this game, and people can play this game. When they go into this game, they go into a simulated reality. And so this guy goes into this reality, and when he goes into the reality as the gamer, he takes over characters, and then he just does what he wants, and he chooses to be really violent and like a homicidal murderer. And he's murdering all these people, and the people who know that character start saying, yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why have you suddenly changed? Why are you trying to kill us? We're your best friends. It's because that character is actually just an NPC. It's just part of the program, part of the game, and it's just sort of autonomously living a life until someone comes and plays that character. Then this guy goes back to his, he finishes playing the game, goes back to his normal reality, and then someone in his real life starts doing exactly the same thing. And that's when he realizes, oh my goodness, I'm in a game. I'm a character in a game, and someone else is playing us in a level above where we're at. And the reason that I've added this into this discussion is because I think it's kind of interesting, because that could possibly mean that when somebody becomes demon-possessed, when somebody talks about having experiences where they black out and when they wake up they've done crazy things or anything like that could be explained that they're just a character that is playing itself autonomously in the game until somebody in the level above decides to play that character. And when they do, then they take control of that character, and the character does all of these heinous things, and then the person the level above stops playing, and then the character returns to their own sentience and goes, oh my God, what did I do? Well, I was possessed. This is a crazy idea. But it kind of fits in. It does. It kind of fits in. So, if there is... Let me just see. Sorry, I've got a few notes here. Let me just see. All right. Now, I'm getting close to the end of what I was wanted to say in this discussion. There is something which is interesting about the idea that do we actually want to be aware if we're in a simulation? So if you were to consider that our descendants have created this simulation so they can observe us, and this would depend upon us not realizing we're in a simulation. Because once we all realize we're in a simulation, then we would all look around and say, hang on again, we're in a simulation, we'd stop behaving organically. And if we stop behaving organically, then the data that they're drawing from the simulation would no longer be relevant, it would no longer be useful information, because the characters in the game know that they're in the game. So if that would occur, then it seems like if it's it would take like massive computing power to run a simulation like the one that we're in. So that's a lot of resources. Therefore, they may decide this is no longer a simulation which is useful to us. Let's reboot the simulation. And so they'll pull the plug and plug us back in again. And then all of our history, all of our memories, all of our personalities, all of our experiences will be wiped from the simulation and then starting the simulation again. So don't tell anyone we're in a simulation. They might unplug us. And this is the final thing I want to say. The final thing. Even my guides, when they're talking about the reality, they say that when it comes to things like manifesting, they say that we're not creators, we're manifestors. And that what we do is we perceive what already exists. And so you want to harmonize with the vibration of that thing so you can bring that pre-existing thing into your perception so you can experience it. But you don't actually create it because it already existed. All possibilities is already pre-coded into the game, into our reality. So even my guides speak in a way which infers that we're in a simulation. But the one thing which is fundamentally different about what my guides say and what scientists are saying about this simulation theory is that my guides say we are immortal, infinite, and invulnerable. That we are energetic individuations of the One, which are comprised of love and light. And that's very different to the scientists discussing this simulation theory who say that we are literally entirely artificial and fake. And at the moment somebody flicks the switch, we will no longer be. So I prefer my guides' conceptualization of the simulation theory. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you found that to be enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed my husky voice. Ooh. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.